Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Sandwich Generation Pod. I'm Robyn.
And I'm Eliesa. And today we're talking about something we don't always make space for, but we really should. And that is friendships and how friendships are impacted when you are part of the sandwich generation.
That phase of life when you're supporting aging parents and also caring for young kids or young adults, sometimes both at once. And honestly, it can feel like you're holding a whole world together with a thread.
And in all of that holding, our friendships, which are the thing that holds us together, can slip through the cracks.
So in today's episode, we're digging into what friendship looks like during the sandwich years, how people in this phase can maintain connections, ways to show up for a friend who's deep in it, that's us, and how we might even support our parents' friendships too.
Because it turns out everyone needs their people, no matter what season they're in, no matter what age we're at. We all need our friends.
We do. So let's get into it.
Oh, I love it. Friendships, I don't know about you, but I feel like kind of similarly to when you have your first kid, you know, your friendships can change. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that those people don't care about you that don't have kids. But when I had kids, I remember getting through birth the first time and I was like, whoa, I had no idea that this is what it was like. And I wish that I could go back and be a better friend to everyone I knew who had had kids before me. And the same feels similar to this phase of being sandwiched because it's really hard to understand what it feels like until you're in it. And it's also particularly very challenging when you are both raising young kids and caregiving for your aging parents, which I know we've said like a million times already in this podcast, but like it is such a very specific moment in time and place in life. And what I think has been really encouraging about the podcast finally being out is that we're hearing from so many more people and finding more community. And our hope is that our listeners will continue to find community with each other. That is a part of what we're really trying to do here, because I think when we both started in this journey, we felt it's lonely. It's really, really lonely. And when your friends are like, hey, I want to see you. Hey, I want time with you. Hey, I want to grab brunch. Oh, I want to go out for dinner. Oh, I want to go on this trip. And you're like, hey, can't. I actually can't. Like, that's very real.
And I want to give a shout out to my friends. For me, friendship is one of the greatest works in my life. When I look back on my life, friendship is something that I want to be really proud of, that like I invested in, because I think my mom taught me that, you know, friendship is so important. It's just up there with family. It's like friends and family. It's it. It's like you're born, you have friends and family, and then you die. You know, it's kind of like that. Simple as that. And so I want to give a shout out to a lot of my friends. They have been so great about checking in and trying to be there for me. And it's not easy because a lot of times, to tell you the truth, I don't want to talk about what's happening with my parents. It's heavy, you know, like I always say, like, it's not brunch fodder. I don't want to go out to brunch and talk about my parents. Maybe I'm like, okay, here's what I'll do. I'm going to give you an elevator pitch snapshot of what's going on. And then that's it. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because it completely changes the mood. It's so heavy, but I also do need community. I do need to take up space sometimes to talk about it, but it's hard for me, you know? So I just want to say, like, this is at no fault of my friends because they've done everything they can, but sometimes it's just hard to participate in that.
Yeah. So in preparation for this episode, we had reached out to our Instagram followers, our followers on Substack, and we asked, what are your stories about friendship? How have your friendships been affected, and how have your friends shown up for you? And we had an amazing listener named Liz write in, and I wanted to share some of her words. How have relationships changed? I love my girlfriends, but things have gotten quiet. That phrase alone, I feel like I read and I was like, yes, I can relate, you know? And also sometimes I'm the quiet one because I don't even have capacity to respond, or there's a lot of guilt, which we'll get into. And she goes on to say that, we still get together like no time has passed, but the conversations feel different. I joke that I can't keep anything light and that it just feels so heavy, which is exactly what you were saying. What have you been up to lately? Feels like a loaded question. Oh, I don't know. Cleaning 2 houses, getting stains out of a 3-year-old and a 79-year-old's clothes. Those are not the best conversation starters. And until someone has experienced the immense grief of losing a parent and or caring for a parent who is declining, they don't and won't get it. I'm in the club that no one wants to be in, but I'm thankful for those of us who are in the club together and how we support each other. And I thought that was just so beautiful because it's so true. And Liz, I couldn't have said it any better. It's so real in the day to day, and things are heavy, things are hard. And also I agree that I'm so thankful for my friends who I have found who are in this place. Robyn is one of them. And another person in my life who has been just invaluable is Mel. And Mel, a lot of people know who know me, they know Mel because Mel is also my studio manager. So they're involved in all of the day-to-day in my work. And so clients know Mel, our team knows Mel, a lot of my friends know Mel. And around the same time, Mel and I have had a lot of parallels in life, but around the same time, are you okay, by the way? Should I stop? I
No,
can get our
just
box
emotional.
of Kleenex. I think Mel actually moved the Kleenex box yesterday. They went through and cleaned this place.
No, I was just very touched by what that listener said.
Right?
Because I just understand that.
Yeah. I know.
Sorry, I'm just having a moment.
No, that's good. Again, we welcome all the tears. Mel and I both kind of entered a caregiving space with our parents around the same time. And to have someone that I was also working so closely with in our little studio understand when I had to be like, my parents in a hospital, I can't show up today. Or same thing for them, right? Like my dad, needs a emergency care conference. I need to go to that today. I understood, especially as people who are both onlys, having that support in both a work environment and a personal friendship has been and continues to be really valuable. And that's something that I feel really lucky for because I know that doesn't exist for a lot of us in the sandwich generation to have like the work support. But I kind of wanted to bring that up because I work in a very unique setting. It's not like we have like an HR department, but if there is anyone at work that you can connect with at all in this level, so they are understanding about your situation, that is just such a relief sometimes when you have to call out or you can't be there. That's a huge help too.
It's so interesting because there are people that sort of naturally know how to show up and they kind of come out of the woodwork sometimes and rise to the occasion. And I also feel like I have someone at work that does that as well for me. And I feel like my staff has been with me. When this podcast came out, I sent them a text and just said, thank you for everything you've done for me.
Yeah.
When my dad went into the hospital, my mom got in an accident, I had to leave work. I wasn't really present for lots of it, and I was pregnant. And I just think about all the little tiny ways and days that my staff picked up the slack for me and just didn't even ask. They just didn't ask. They were just like, we got it. And that's happened over and over again. And I'm so grateful for even that.
That's amazing. I mean, you and I are both small business owners and our teams are very small. And so even our work family to me is family. Yeah. And I assume that that's sort of the same in your business too. And I feel the same. I sent our team a text too, and they're just like, they're the best. And that's how we can do all of this is really because of our people, right?
It really does take a village, just like raising children. And I keep talking about this too. When you have a kid, everyone wants to talk to you about it. Like there's a million questions, right? Well, it's the same with end of life caregiving. You actually need the same amount of peer support, but it's sort of a ghost town because people don't want to talk. They don't come out and be like, oh my God, I love changing my parents' diapers. You know, like I
These
love
large
talking
size
about
wipes from Costco are
Yeah.
the best brand that you should buy because they're large.
Yeah.
They are great for adults.
Oh, I just love talking about how to put my parents in assisted living. It is just the best, you know?
Oh, God.
So, but it's like,
Fuck.
but I will say when I find someone going through it, like I want to talk to them because
Yes,
I need
yes.
to talk to them. And so it takes a village when you're pregnant and having babies. It also takes a village taking care of your parents, but that village is harder to find.
Well, and particularly when we're talking about being in the sandwich generation, I mean, our caregiving experience showed up far earlier than we were expecting. And we both had our children a little bit later. So we are exactly the definition of the sandwich generation. And I mean, I have a baby, but even if you have teenagers, like you're still caring for young adults and you're still bringing them up. And it's such a unique place to be caregiving for all the people, because caregiving for either your parent is overwhelming enough. Caregiving for just children is overwhelming enough, but doing both at the same time, like, holy shit, we need each other. We absolutely need each other. And I think when you start your caregiving journey for your parents and you are young, you look around and you're like, there's no one else here. Like, no one else looks like me.
Totally.
You know, and it's hard and it's lonely. And, you know, everyone's excited about the baby, but you're maybe in grief about your parent.
Yes.
And or grandparent, or, you know, whoever you're caregiving for. And it's tricky because you're feeling all the emotions all at once. I've talked about this, but like the feeling of like whiplash of going from something that's very heavy and then turning around and picking your kid up from daycare. And it's like, hi, how was your day? Everything's great. Mom's great. And like, you're not okay, you know?
Yeah, I was at a forum for like small business owners yesterday, and in the middle of the forum, the only time I could have a care conference about my parents with my sister and the assisted living people was in the middle of the forum. So like during lunchtime, I went into a corner. Basically, my parents got called into the principal's office at, you know, their assisted living place. So me and my sister had to get on a conference. And it was total whiplash because I'm like, oh, I'm in small business mode, but now I'm in the corner over here talking about my parents that got called into the principal's office. And then I'm going to go back to my small business life. But like, I was in a total daze when I was out of that conversation. I wanted to cry, but I was like, I'm in public. I'm a small business owner right here. So it's total whiplash.
We are superheroes, by the way. Like the amount of things that any of us in the sandwich generation can accomplish in one day by like getting your kids out the door, somehow getting food on your table, working, taking care of your parents, like
taking their calls.
Absolute superheroes.
Yeah, you are a superhero.
So strong.
Yeah. Yeah. And all of you listening too. That goes for all of us. I don't know about you guys, but I know as a friend, when I was really in the thick of it, and I guess I still am, I felt like I kind of did go quiet. I am not able to show up the way I used to. And I feel guilt around that. And so I have tried really hard. I feel like it ebbs and flows, but I have tried hard to be like, just getting on a group text, checking in with people, sending little check-ins from me, but also hoping that people understand that if I am a little quiet, if I go underground, it's not because of them. It's because I'm just in it and I'm dealing with something, and I will come back up for air. But please forgive me. Please give me grace. I just need a minute. I need some space. I need to process, or I need to just take care of business.
Yeah.
I will be back, and I love you. You know?
Yeah. I think that for me, friendships, they haven't gone away. Some of them have changed, and mostly because of capacity, like my just sheer capacity or lack of capacity to have time or space to like physically be with people. It's not that I don't love them. And I think that that's something I've had to say out loud.
To your friends.
To my friends, yes. Because then they're kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, and I think in communicating that, like maybe I thought it was obvious, but like maybe it didn't feel, you know, maybe they felt a little slighted or something. Like I was ignoring them. But like behind the scenes, it's like every time I would get a text of like, hey, I want to hang out. And I'm like, just the like guilt of like, but I can't, you know, like I cannot. I have a pile of laundry and it's not like my life is like buried in chores either, right? But I don't have the like physical capacity to go out for a while because I just need to be in. Also, I think I have recognized over time, and I'm not perfect at it. I feel like I'm still keeping myself in check and still like actively learning to listen to what I need. Because if I'm not good, no one else is good. If I'm not good, my business isn't going to run. If I'm not good, my family isn't going to be okay. If I'm not good, my parents aren't going to get the care they need. We have to be okay. And sometimes that means saying no. But I've sort of been like trying to just be really honest. If a friend texts and is like, hey, I'd love to get together, send me dates. And I'm like, I am just really overwhelmed right now. And I don't have the capacity. And can we revisit this in a while? And I think saying it that way has been like better received by friends than even like what I used to, going silent, or like what I used to do would be like, that'd be great. Like maybe in like 4 months. And they'd be like, really? In 4 months? It's got, like, I can't see you for 4 months. And it's like, really what's happening is that right now in this moment, I can't possibly put another thing on my calendar because I need to breathe, or like I need it to be slow.
Sometimes I wish there was like an out of office for friends. You know what I mean? Like a little like beep, 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 beep. Like you send a little like update status to like people you care about. That's like, I am currently emotionally unavailable. I am crying, but I don't want to talk about it. I will be back in 48 hours. You know, I will be back in the office for friends.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I wish there was that.
Well,
whoever
maybe
wants
we can
to
start
invent
doing that. Yeah. Oh, it's so great.
The other thing that this is just kind of like more shallow, but I have had the hardest time. So in this chapter of life, like, you know, you go to kids' birthday parties. So like not all the time, but it's like you want to show up with a gift, right? Or when you go to a friend's house, like here in Minnesota, people love to have each other over to their houses. So like you want to bring a casserole, or like you want to bring something for dinner, or like you want to bring a bottle of wine, whatever. That shit has been so hard for me to do in this chapter. Bringing the thing, like I'm just trying to show up, physically get me and my family there without stains on our clothes. And I'm trying to go to the bathroom before I go. You know what I mean? I'm just
trying to like
up,
hang out with our friends.
And then I'm like, fuck, I don't have the thing to bring.
I know.
That has been a pain point for me. I just want to say to all my friends, sorry about all the shit I do not show up with because I do not have the right gifts and the right food to bring. That's just something I wanted to say because that is hard for me.
And I guarantee you, they're on the other side being like, Robyn, it doesn't matter.
I know.
It's okay. We got you. We'll bring the wine, or we'll bring the salad. This is just a quick story. But last night we had some friends over, and I don't know about you, but either going to a friend's house where the kids can play or having our friends over, that is how we are seeing people right now.
It's great. Yep.
And
that's our life too.
It's awesome. But we had some friends over. You know, Florence was just wild and wired from her amazing day that she had, and she was really excited that these friends were coming over, but during dinner the baby had a total blowout. We needed a bath right away. Nick put her in a towel, and then she peed all over him, and then you know, like all these things like just kept happening. And by the end of the night we were like, okay, thank you for coming. Like we were like wilted flowers, right? Like but also, thank you for bringing the main meal, which was pizza.
Thank you for bringing pizza.
I like threw together a salad. I had every intention of getting home earlier and making this like amazing salad. And it was like kale and dressing at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like I got the kale out of the bag and I got some dressing on there. So, but that's okay. You know what I mean?
Can we just say too, thank God for salad in a bag.
Oh,
fucking love salad in a bag because it's saving my fucking sandwich generation ass. You know what I mean? Salad in a bag. Thank you. Okay, something I wanted to shift to a little bit is if you're in the sandwich generation, how do you communicate to your friends actually how you would like them to show up for you? Or are there beautiful ways people have shown up for you? And I feel like this is actually really important because it's also really easy to feel like people aren't there for you, but it is a two-way street. And sometimes it is okay to like figure out how to communicate, like, this is what I need. Because I think a lot of people don't know. It's really hard to tell what people need.
So what are some ways in which you have done that for your friends?
I think I've had people ask me that aren't going through this very moment, like, what can I do for you? I know some people don't like that question. For me, I could cry just thinking about when people say that.
Yeah. Yeah. It matters, you know?
Sorry, I'm just emotional today.
No, that's good.
But like, I am emotional just because there's so much happening with my parents in the moment. But when people just say, like, what can I do for you? Like, I'm thinking about my friend Melissa right now. She's kind of one of my sandbox friends, and I use that term. It's like something I've kind of used for a long time to describe the people that have been with me anywhere between 4 and 12 years old. I kind of call them my sandbox friends. Thanks. Thanks for getting the tissues. And my sandbox friends, which is so special about them, they have relationships with my parents.
Yeah.
And their parents have relationships with my parents. So it's like very full circle, and it's a really beautiful thing. It's also something you can never escape. So sometimes I'm like, oh my God, cannot get away from these people. But also like, holy shit. At this point in my life, the sandbox friends have really shown up in a very special way in this chapter. And I just like cannot thank them enough. But my friend Melissa, I remember when things started happening in the beginning with my mom and my dad, she was like, what can I do? And I remember she went and picked my parents up from an appointment. And I don't know, something about that. She was like, anything you need, Frankie, because that's like what they call me. And like, I could cry just like thinking about it. And Mindy, who's another friend, when she came to town, she made a point to come sit with my mom and visit my mom for lunch.
Yeah.
Like, what an amazing gesture and thought. I'm so touched by that, and I always will be. Another person who I think about, there were several people that came to help me clean out my parents' house. And I know we're going to talk more about that, but my friend Sarah and Sari and Bethany, like, people showed up to my parents' house, which was in really rough shape, and they just sat with me and they went through my parents' things with me because my parents couldn't do that. I will forever think about those people because they just showed up and they sat with me and they did the things, and it was so simple. I continue to think about ways that I can say to people, this would be helpful. And it's hard to ask for help too.
It is hard to ask for help. And I think when you're in it, sometimes it's hard to know what to ask for because it also feels like everyone's busy and this isn't their responsibility to go through my parents' stuff. You know what I mean? This is ours, you know? And it's hard to know how to ask because you're also going through all this stuff and you're like, oh my God, this is so much. So overwhelming. And I wish I had some help. And I wish I maybe had some like friends to like laugh with, or you know how like some of your friends also like get shit done in a way that's either like different from you or that you need, or similarly to you where you're like, I know that like the two of us can just like do this. You know what I mean?
They're like your project manager girlfriends.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
They're amazing.
They're the project manager girlfriends. You know who they are.
Yep.
Get shit done.
Yep. One thing that happened in my world that was very touching, and I think I mentioned this in another episode too, was my friend Liz, after my parents moved into assisted living, she came and helped me hang art in their home, like picture frames, artwork, mirrors, quilt hangers. She's also very handy, far handier than I am. So that was helpful. But we just got it done. They felt so much more settled and moved in. And it took the whole day, you know, but she was there. And that meant so much to me. And it meant so much to my parents because we're just going about all these things. And it felt so heavy. And the transition was so hard. And to have their art on their walls and mirrors hung and things like that, and just have that done, just made their space feel so much more welcoming and so much more settled. And it just, I mean, I've said it a million times, but it made us all feel so good. And that was something she didn't have to do. And that was very humbling. And I'm very grateful for that. And it's one of those things, I think, when friends show up for you, who aren't sandwiched, who maybe don't have kids or are like far off from the place that you are at in life, when they do show up, it is so humbling and it means so much because it's just sort of like, wow, you're an amazing human. You have so much empathy and this is so helpful in our lives. It's hard to know how to show up for people when it's hard. You know, it's easy to show up for people when they've just had a baby or they just bought a new house or something like that. But it's hard when you're hanging art and your dad might be farting in the next room and you're like, good God, thanks for being here. You know,
Totally. Totally.
It's very real. And that's a very different place that also kind of brings your friendship to a different place.
Different level. Right? So maybe some tips, or definitely trying to say to your friends, there might be times that I need you to show up in a really weird way. And I might just text you or ask you and just come without judgment. And that is enough. Also, just checking in with me, even if I don't respond. And even if I say I don't want to talk about it, please keep asking me. I say that a lot. Like, I will tell people, even when I say I don't want to talk about it, the fact that you've asked me means the world to me. I could cry again. I'm emotional about people's generosity. That always makes me cry. Another thing that I've been doing, because I feel like this is just something to think about. If you are someone who's more introverted or has found yourself feeling really lonely because you've kind of shut people out, because I think that's a very normal thing to do. I want you to think about this. When something really emotional happens, I will send a text to some of my close friends and I will just say, this happened. This is how I'm feeling. And then I'll usually say, I don't want to talk about it, but I want you to be on the journey with me. I want you to know, because when my mom does pass away, I don't want people to not have known what I was going through. I don't want to alienate my friends. And that's something I learned with my parents' friends too, which we're going to get to. But you don't want to alienate people in your life. You want them to be with you on the journey. And it's okay to say you don't want to talk about it, but there are ways to include your friends and family without having to get into it, but just to let them know, please be here with me. Just be here. But that's really, really helped me to do. And I think people appreciate that because I think they feel like closer to me and they know that I'm not pushing them away, but I also don't want to talk about it. So those are some things that have helped me. Do you have any tips?
As I'm driving, for some reason in the morning, this is generally when on like my drive into a shoot or the studio, wherever I'm going, I just take a moment to think about like who's coming up, right? Like, and I send a voice text while I'm driving to my friends, just saying like, I'm thinking of you this morning. You popped in my mind this morning. How are you doing? And it's literally, I'm sending it through Siri, like, you know, and if they respond, I might not respond for like 4 more days. Right. But it is a good way to just like stay connected, even if I'm not seeing people, because I never want my friends to feel like they don't matter to me, because they matter very much. It's just my ability to go to happy hours are far less these days than they used to be. And that's okay, right? I'm fine with that. But I do think that those very little simple texts go a long way. And whenever I get those from people too, they go a long way. And now for this week's To Laugh or Cry.
This is from one of our listeners, Nicole. Since August of last year, I've been my dad's primary caretaker. Fast forward to May of this year, we found ourselves in the hospital with no clear answers. From day one, my dad had complained of abdominal pain and severe diarrhea, so I finally asked why a GI hadn't been consulted. I pushed for a gastroenterology consult, and within 24 hours, they had a stool sample back confirming C. diff, a bacterial infection of the intestines that causes exactly what he had been dealing with. It was one of those, are you kidding me moments? C. diff is treatable with antibiotics, something you can go home with. And since he was anxious and giving the hospital staff a hard time, we can relate to that. I figured I'd just take him home, get his meds at the pharmacy, and make sure he got plenty of fluids and rest. Easy enough, right? All we had to do was make it from the hospital to the house. 10 minutes into the drive, he pooped his pants. Not just a little, all over the rental car. Cloth seats.
No.
Oh, no, girl. The car had 504 miles on it, so it was basically brand new. I was flying out the next day, so I did my best to shampoo the seat, return the car, and move on with my life. It was one of those moments that could have broken me, but instead I just laughed because of course this happened. This is real life. Messy, exhausting, and somehow oddly hilarious. Oh
my gosh. I can totally see that happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
1000%.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry that happened to you, Nicole, and also
sorry,
thank
Nicole.
you for sharing.
She called it a shitty story.
Yeah. that is a shitty story.
It's a shitty story.
Yeah. And now back to the show. I have amazing friendships, and they're all kind of like individual friendships though. You know, I have like one friend group who are very close. They are all on group text. And what I love about that is that it's not just girlfriends, it's all of our friends, and Nick is included. And it is almost like a family group text. And we celebrate the kids stuff, we share hard parent stuff, and everyone is like immediately always there from each other, and that support means the world. We have friends that live down the street who are some of our closest friends, and even going through birth again, my therapist was like, who are the people that you want around you? And this family was at the top of my list. It's almost like it's like transcended friendship. It's very like familial, like our kids are like sisters. Monica, the mother, is like my mom in some ways, right? Especially when it gets hard. Man, shout out to Monica. She is a person that I could get emotional and cry about because she has shown up at my door with like broth or honestly like chapstick and tea and little self-care items that I have by my bed and I use like every night. Mm-hmm. But things that I didn't even know that I needed, she was able, and I think this is just her superpower and her ability to see people and show up for them in ways of nourishing them somehow, whether that is like a text or a poem or a dinner or a meal. This was actually very moving. She planted the seed of like, hey, I have parents who come up and watch our kids often. How about I arrange for my parents to come up to our house? They will watch all of the kids, even the baby, so we can have a double date night.
Oh my God.
Isn't that amazing?
Holy shit.
We did that this last weekend, actually. That just happened. And so
that is like just as good as a shot of tequila when I was 24. That's just as good. Holy
absolutely.
Shit.
And
that's
like,
amazing.
That's her superpower.
If you are listening to this and you're like, okay, how do I tell my friends? Or if you are a friend of someone who is sandwiched, a couple of things we've kind of mentioned how to show up. One, offering to spend time with your friend's parents, showing up with any kind of food. I mean, I don't know. I'm Jewish. Just food goes such a long way. It's like the ultra nourisher, right?
It is. But that like showing up with food, I know it's cliche in Minnesota, but actually showing up with food is one of the best ways. Like food is a connector. Food does nourish us. Food takes care of us. Food makes our days easier.
And
that's
even
huge.
You can DoorDash it. It's the gesture sometimes. So even if you DoorDashed it to someone's parents or DoorDashed it to your sandwiched friend, getting groceries, just being like, hey, can I get you some groceries? Can I get groceries delivered? Those little gestures are so huge. Another thing I want to say is if you're a friend of a sandwich person, or if you are a sandwich person listening and thinking about this, sometimes you have friends in your network that know how to do certain things, you know, like having a friend who is handy or someone who can help clean out closets, like an organizer. A big thing I like to do when people have babies, but I think it's good for any point in life, is helping someone get their house cleaned.
Oh, yes.
That, like, I did that for someone when their mom died, because someone did it for me when I had a baby. And giving that as a gift was one of my favorite things, because I knew what that was going to, like, they were having a funeral at their house and they were stressing about cleaning it. So, you know, there's always just very unique ways you can show up, and they don't have to be grandiose.
I joke about this, but it's actually a very serious request at the moment. But my mom wants their apartment dusted so badly because they have housekeeping, but they never dust.
So if there's anyone out there,
it's a very specific thing, and I just can't find the time to dust whenever I'm with them, you know, because we're like doing a bunch of other things. And last time we were over there, I saw the dust. It's there. Yeah. She's not wrong. And I was like, oh, I gotta dust. For someone whose parents are also on medical assistance, they don't have money
Yeah.
for the extras, right? If there were ways that my friends or family could show up for my parents that would help me and also treat them, it would absolutely be the simplest things. It would be the cleaning, the dusting, helping rearrange. That's also on my mom's list right now. Taking them out to coffee, lunch, or dinner. Wow.
Wow.
A gift card to a movie theater.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
A ride, just a drive.
Yes.
Sometimes. Huge. And as much as I would love to do all those things all the time, we have young kids, we have work. Like I can't do that as much as I want. And so if someone were to ask, how could I most show up for your parents, that would also mean showing up for me, right? It would be those very simple things. And it would go such a long way. I have the best in-laws in the world too. And we're also lucky on Nick's side of the family to have 3 great-grandparents alive.
Wow.
And Great Bonnie is in her 90s and she is in amazing health. And Bonnie and my mom have a lot of things in common. They love to quilt. My mom loves her visits. And a while ago, my mother-in-law drove Bonnie down an hour to take my mom out for coffee. And like that meant the world to her. And I think what's hard too is for my parents, and I can't speak for them, but they've shared this many times, is, you know, living in assisted living communities, they're making friends, they're making new friends in their older age, which is hard to do, by the way. But then they're seeing their friends get sick and they're seeing their friends die or they're seeing their friends move for various reasons. And that's hard, you know, and because they don't drive anymore, their independence and their ability to see their friends and family is so few and far between. And so I think asking how can we help our parents' friendships too is kind of a part of this friendship episode, because that's a whole other set of ideas, right? What's happening for my parents now is if their friends are in the neighborhood, they've had some friends be like, hey, I'm going to be driving by your area. Can I stop and take you out for lunch? Can I stop by for a visit? Like, that's huge.
Huge.
So generous and so huge. I can tell whenever they've had a visit, you know what I mean? From their
like
friends.
crack. It's like crack.
They come to life.
They really do.
You know, their anxieties calm down. It's so important to have that connection to the world outside of your assisted living community also.
Yeah, I'm really glad you're bringing this up because my mom, you know, is my North Star, and she was an incredible friend to people. And so she had developed kind of her cabinet of friends. I would call them her regulars growing up. When things started to happen and people started to see a decline in my mom, that same cabinet or regulars were texting me and my sister being like, something's up, something's wrong. And we knew, but we didn't really want to talk about it because my mom was private. Then we realized we actually need to bring them on board and we need to tell them what's happening with my mom because we need their help. We need them to show up for my mom. What we need from you is to show up in the most normal way as a friend. We want you to come have lunch, check in every night, be a regular like you always have been, gossip, do all the things that my mom loves that makes her feel normal. And just to follow up to what happened recently, it was my mom's birthday in June, and I felt like it kind of came and went, and I was feeling really bad about it. And I was like, you know, this might be one of the last birthdays that my mom is really present and she really knows what's happening. And so I texted the regulars and I was like, we need to have a birthday brunch. Everyone got on board. Now, my mom's friends are also older. They're 75. And everyone's afraid to take my mom out at this point because she's fragile. And so I knew the only way to get her out was if I was there. So I was like, I'm going to get her out. You don't have to worry about that. I just need you to show up at the deli. And everyone was like, what do we bring as a gift? You know, and I'm like, this is what I want. I want everyone to bring a story. It can be when you met my mom. It can be a funny story. I just want you to bring a story to share. I just have to say, I cried through this whole brunch. I mean, obviously you can tell I'm a crier by this point, but It was so amazing. My mom participated in the stories and she had her own stories. It totally jogged her memory. It was so beautiful. And then they wrote her a song to Matchmaker, Matchmaker.
Oh,
And
yes.
it was Barbie, oh Barbie. My mom's name is Barb.
Oh.
I mean, if you thought I was crying when they were telling the stories, I was just like, I cannot. And my mom would be the person who would write the songs usually for
Sure.
like weddings and bar mitzvahs and showers. She loved to write songs and she would print it out and then all the other ladies would like sing it. So they did that for her. And it was incredible. And it was so simple. It was not expensive. It was not a huge gesture. It was just like something I will never forget. And I got to hear the stories and it was a happy occasion. So
Yes.
take what you will from the story. But I feel like the point is don't underestimate the power of your parents' friends. Because like you said, you can just tell when your parents have been around their friends or it just makes them feel, it lights them up and makes them feel normal. And they're part of your village. These people are all part of our village, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Their friends, our friends. It takes the whole village.
Yep. Yep. One thing that I have to commend my parents for, while they don't drive, neither one of them does anymore, they have figured out metro mobility. When it comes to friendship, there is a couple that my parents have become very close with in their assisted living community, and they have to move to a different place for different cares. And so my mom is making a plan with this couple to take Metro Mobility to their new apartment and continue the friendship and continue visiting. And I love that. I love just seeing that effort. I'm going to try it out because it's no small feat for my parents to go anywhere, by the way. It takes a lot of effort. So this Metro Mobility piece is actually really important and kind of life-changing for all of us because she can take her scooter. She could take it to her friend's house to see her friends. I'm proud of them for making it a point to stay connected to even these new friendships that they've made. So a couple other things from our listeners that have written in on ideas on how to show up for our friends while they're sandwiched.
Yeah.
This is going back to Liz, who wrote in. She just had such good things to share. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, Liz.
I have a friend who sends little cards and postcards, and there's nothing better than getting mail, like real mail in the mail. Yes. Also, that is a really good idea for our parents too. Like if people can't physically show up, if they can't be there, sending them something in the mail is fantastic. Fantastic. Everyone loves happy mail because all we get are bills, you know? Oh, it's a drag. Offering to join them to do some sort of self-care is often not a priority, but is also very needed. It could be as simple as a walk, something like a pedicure, a glass of wine, a listening ear. I will say sometimes for me, making appointments and doing a thing can feel like too much, right? So someone just popping over or dropping something by goes a long way. So to recap for all of us, this, I know we were like kind of blabbing and going on a tangent, but I love this conversation. I think that like the friendship struggle can be real or feel real when you're in it. And at the end of the day, like we love our people and they love us so much. So throughout this episode, I have been taking some notes and I have 2 lists to share with us. So I'm going to start by sharing some ways in which our friends can show up for us who are in the sandwich generation. Check-in texts, something really simple, means a lot. Just understanding that we love you, and even if we don't respond, we will be back. Even if we can't do dinner soon, we will circle back, right? Like we will get there, but sometimes we just need a minute or we don't have the capacity. Food in any form.
Any form.
Any form. That bag salad, always welcome. Someone drops a bag salad off at my door. I'm good with that.
Oh
That's
my God,
amazing.
I'm gonna drop a bag of salad on your door. And that's how you know I love you.
Yes, yes. Childcare for a break, not just childcare in an emergency situation, but to give your friend a break who's in the thick of it. I mean, for all of us raising kids, that's an amazing gift, but especially for somebody who is sandwiched. Just being a listening ear, letting them vent, not having the answers or advice, but just letting us vent. Helping with any of the parent stuff, giving them rides to appointments, taking them out for coffee, taking care or showing up for our parents means taking care of us also. And our last tip is to surprise us. Because who doesn't love a surprise when you're in the middle of a bunch of shit, right?
Mm-hmm. We need surprises.
That's so fun. So our second list is how our parents' friends can show up for us and specifically our parents. This is a theme, right? Getting our parents to their appointments, out to lunch, out to coffee dates, anything out and about. That is a huge help on us and also such a bright light for them. That is a big ask, but also would mean the world to everyone involved. Coming to them for a visit, also huge.
Huge.
Sending them a checking in text, helping clean out the parents' house if they are in transition of moving, or if somebody has passed away. Those really heavy lift moments showing up in that is huge. Helping them also settle in to a new home or a new space, assisted living. All those transitions are so big. And a lot of our parents, I mean, they lived in the same places probably for a long time.
Very long time.
Downsizing might not have happened yet. Like, it's a lot of stuff to go through. Sending them a text or a note while they're actively in the hospital. I know some of my parents' most emotional and lonely moments have been when they're in the hospital, and just, you know, you're in your own head when you're there. And so getting those messages from their friends have meant the world. Food in any form, once again.
Any form.
Yep. And sending snail mail, because everyone loves to get a surprise in the mail. That's not a bill.
Add them to your Christmas card list.
Yeah.
A friend of mine
absolutely.
sends my parents her Christmas card.
Oh, that's so great.
I know.
That's so great.
Thank you, Becky.
Love it. All right. So those are our lists of tips.
Here's the big takeaway for today. Whether you're in the sandwich generation or just loving someone who is, friendship still really matters. It might look different in this chapter, but it really matters.
Thank you for spending time with us on the Sandwich Generation Pod. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who's in the middle of it all, and maybe someone you haven't texted in a while to check in on your friend.
Until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your people, and remember, real friendship adapts, and so can we.
Bye.
Yeah,
I love
that was
it.
good. I like that one.
So good.
You're a good friend.
You're a great friend. Love you. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully you can take away some helpful info and tips. All links and resources can be found in our show notes.
Please share this episode with anyone you think this might help. And if you have a topic that you'd like to talk more with us about in the sandwich generation world, please slide into our DMs on Instagram. Our handle is @thesandwichgenerationpod. We hope you'll be back for more combos with us soon. And remember, no matter whose diaper you're changing, you're never alone.
That was great. That was really good. All right.